Alright guys, welcome back to 59Gaming. Today I am accompanied by the boy Lethal. We are going to be discussing the new Kingdom Hearts game that just came out over on the Switch. He just finished his playthrough on the game and we're going to go ahead and discuss that. Before we get into that, how are you doing today, Lethal?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about some Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Kingdom
Hearts stuff
I
is
know.
always exciting to talk about.
Yes, it is. And I think this game has some fun stuff to talk about. There was definitely some highlights in it. And all in all, I have seen some mixed opinions on it based more around the story because most of the game is basically just going over the past games to like the last of it. How did you feel about that?
Like going over basically like the rest of the worlds?
Yeah, like they basically just, this game was kind of like a recap in a way, going over like all the worlds again. They went through a lot of those same old cutscenes. Were you kind of like upset about it or not really?
For me, not really. It's always good, especially because anybody who loves Kingdom Hearts knows like how convoluted and how complex the story gets. So it's always great to kind of go back and revisit worlds, kind of get like a fresh like rememorization of like certain things you might have missed and whatnot, especially some of the cutscenes, especially with for people who are playing the game or getting into the game, having Kairi kind of narrate and kind of discuss things. There might be some things you might have forgotten. I know there's some things that I might have forgotten, so it was good to kind of just get like that narration up into the brand new stuff. So 100%, I definitely liked it.
Yeah, cool. I have seen a bunch of complaints about it, but I completely agree with you because again, it has been so many years that these games have been out. And a lot of people don't have PS4s to play the collection, so if they had a Switch, they had an opportunity to kind of get over, to get to know the story again, which was pretty cool. And this was a rhythm-based game. So how did you feel about the rhythm gameplay aspect of it?
So I don't mind it, and like I was saying before, I think it was cool because it's something different. And that's like something with Kingdom Hearts, though. Kingdom Hearts has been known to do like these kind of side games as something that's a little bit different. Like, reminds of like Chain of Memories. Chain of Memories was a kind of a card-based system. I had no idea how to play that. That was like new to me at the time when I was like a kid first playing that. So for them to bring in like a rhythm game, that's kind of like new territory for me again. So I like it for the fact that it introduces something different, something that I'm not used to. But it's just another cool way to kind of just like, get into the story and be involved and see everything just in a different kind of way. So I didn't mind it at all.
Cool. Yeah, those games typically can be a bit fun. There's been a couple of like Persona type games that they've done that with, and I think it's just kind of like it's just an easy game to make, like for the devs to have fun with it, and the creator did have a lot of high hopes for it. I think there's tons of songs that you could play. I think they mentioned it was like over 100 hours of songs.
And that's like that was like the best thing though. Like at least for me, as someone who kind of grew up with Disney, so it's always great to kind of like go back and replay some of those like Disney songs. So of course it's a cool little like nostalgic trip.
Yeah, it definitely is 100%. And did you enjoy, like, what was your favorite song to play through?
Is it?
There was one.
The Night Before Christmas. I'm gonna say, well, Halloween time. I was gonna say Night Before Christmas. Like all of those tracks, like This Is Halloween, all that. Like that's always my go-to. The fact that we had that, I was just like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, that was cool. So, some guys might not really know what like the whole story on the whole game was, but the story really does pick up towards the end of the game. Right. And that's kind of like where like the big meat of like this discussion video is going to be coming from, because basically they're setting things up for Kingdom Hearts 4. If you guys weren't aware, the creator of Kingdom Hearts already kind of came out, like Nomura was mentioning that 2021 might be a big reveal for Kingdom Hearts 4 because it is going to be, I believe it's a 20-year anniversary. So he did say there's going to be some big information dropping next year, and that this is the last side game. It's not really a side game because it's like it's canon to the story, but it's the last game that's going to bridge into Kingdom Hearts 4. So they're kind of setting things up, and I think they did it in a pretty okay manner. So if you guys are not cool with the spoilers, definitely go ahead and hop off now. We did talk about the main gameplay. There's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's a rhythm game. Kind of boss fights in the rhythm aspects and stuff like that, but the big meat is that last bit of it. So there is a movie, and now we're gonna go into the spoiler section where we see Kairi fighting Old Man Zemus. You see her fighting Xehanort.
Right.
And that was pretty cool. That was kind of like, what's going on here?
It threw me off.
And
it threw me off. It did throw me off. Especially
because,
if you played any of Kingdom Hearts 3, you know how that whole thing ended. So to see him back, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, we're doing this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, especially when they actually like wrote him off as kind of like a good guy in Kingdom Hearts 3. So it was kind of bizarre seeing him as a villain, but they kind of explained it a bit more in detail on why he was there. It was just kind of like her memories thing. If you guys weren't aware, she was sleeping all this time because they're trying to deep dive into her heart to figure out where Sora's is. If you have not played Kingdom Hearts 3, highly suggest it. Sora's in a different world, which now we got an explanation of. And that was primarily what this game is setting up. Like Kairi and Riku basically figuring out where Sora is, which we kind of do figure out. Which you want to tell us a bit more about that new world that they're coming up with right now.
Yeah, so basically, you know, jumping around a little bit, but getting to that point where you see Riku, Kairi, I think it was the fairy godmother. They essentially found a. It's hard to explain this part of it. I don't want to say it's like the. How would you want to describe the star? Like, do you want to describe it as like it's the person's like spirit, or like I don't? It's not their heart, right? Because. I don't know. See, that's the part right. That's where I get a little tricky to explain that part.
When she explained it, the fairy godmother, I think that like that ocean, like that world where like the sky world, everybody's dead.
Right.
And
it's like they're like stuck,
it was like her soul.
Right.
Yeah, they're stuck there, and they can't get their bodies back because she couldn't bring out this gal's body, which to me, I don't know. Like, is that okay? This might be like a long shot, but is that Lee's friend? Because remember, Lee and Sykes had a third friend in their group. It was a female, and they lost her. I wonder if this is her, because they have not been able to figure out. They explained it in Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3 a bit. I wonder if this is that person, but I don't know, because she, going into the new realm, it's basically called the World of Fiction. I think that is pretty cool.
Right.
And that's where she's from. She's from that world, and she kind of explained it a bit on what it is. It's no, she didn't. Ansem did. Ansem the Wise explained it. There's another in-between world where it's not light or darkness.
Right.
It's fiction, which you mentioned it earlier as kind of like as a joke, but we could actually go into Final Fantasy.
Right. I mean, the way they want to keep describing it too, they want to keep describing it. It's like it's a world that's like not ours. No, how do they explain it in the game? It's something like it's just worded in a way where it's like it's not in our universe. It's not from anything that we can have access to. This is something that's on the opposite side. It's not darkness. It's not darkness, or it's not light, basically. And it's not in between. It's like it's fictional. It's not realistic or something like that. So it does put up that theory that, okay, where are we going then? Like, and the thing is, it does tie in from, if you finish the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it was at the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. It was the secret ending. And you got to see where Sora, you got to see a little glimpse of where Sora and Riku kind of wake up in a city. And, this city, and you adding this into, like, Remind stuff, too. It kind of goes into this whole thing where, like, they're in a new kind of world where they kind of bring back the whole Verum Rex character, right? Yozora. They all this kind of plays together here. And you're brought back into, like, the setting of, like, a real-life kind of city where there's people involved, there's cars. And it's a little confusing, because it doesn't look like Sora fits there. Same thing with Sora, Riku. Like, none of them look like they kind of fit there.
It doesn't.
So
it doesn't.
It does kind of tie in, to the ending of Tahir, and the ending of Melody of Memory, where there's this new setting that they're going to go to called Quadratum. Is that what it is? Quadratum. And
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I believe it's Quadratum. But the one thing I want to quickly tie into that too is, I think it was pretty much that too, that Verum Rex, Yozora, and all that all took place. And I think it was in Quadratum. And so, like, a lot of what they're kind of mentioning, I think, was a part of the Verum Rex game that was in Kingdom Hearts 3. So there's a lot of tie-ins to, like, specifically kind of where it's going to. So, I don't know. I guess it kind of begs the question is, if they're going into this whole other world that's not really affiliated with, like, this Disney kind of universe, but kind of what we have going on right now, is it possible we can get what we were missing in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is, like, more Final Fantasy stuff? Can we go into a world, into a game that kind of just focuses on Final Fantasy? Because, Final Fantasy has a lot of, like, taking place with, like, regular people. Even though that sounds kind of weird, but, like, like, just like your normal people, your cities, stuff like that, where you don't really see too much of that in Kingdom Hearts in general. You see it, but I mean, I feel like in the way of which they're trying to explain it, it's very, like, not normal to what they're used to seeing. So I don't know. The first thing came to my mind, and what's being theorized all over the place, is Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think that is a huge thing that Nomura is probably looking into. And a lot of the characters from this world, when we're watching, like, the Toy Story world in Kingdom Hearts 3, look a lot like the 13 Versus characters.
Right.
So this might be his way of implementing them into the game. And then, like you mentioned, with the secret boss fight, I forgot his actual name, but I know Dylan Sprouse is the voice actor for it.
Is he Yozora?
Zora, yes. There we go. And that's really cool. And then, that secret ending with you saw some organization members driving a car, I believe, right?
Yeah. He's like making a heart to like the moon and everything. Like you're not sure who it is, because like at this point I thought the Master of Masters was Kairi until we find out it's not him. So maybe that's the Master of Masters, because that's where everything's kind of alluding to at that point. It's like you're going back into the old kind of Kingdom Hearts lore stuff, where if you were playing like Kingdom Hearts Unchained and whatnot, you get to learn more about that. And that's the part where like it's a little bit like kind of off waters for me, like with the rest of the ancient Keyblade Masters, like Ira, Ava, and all them. It does get a little bit kind of complex there, but I think that's where we're finally going into for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, they're definitely setting a lot up, and for good reason, because what else can Kingdom Hearts really do now? Because they closed up the chapter with Xehanort. Mm-hmm. They closed like the whole light versus dark. I think this was one of the only ways that Nomura was able to get around that to justify Kingdom Hearts 4 now, because what else were they going to be able to do in terms of that storyline? Because Xehanort's gone. I mean, he's into the afterlife. And now it's like, is the next villain going to be the Master of Masters? That's like my biggest question too. It's like, we don't know what they're even planning here. We don't really have a villain right now.
We really don't know at all. Like it's one of those where like, it's so open-ended. We're like, okay, like I mean, we all once upon a time thought Ansem was like the thing back in Kingdom Hearts 1, Then you get Organization 13, and then you go through all that, and it's just like, okay, like where, how much deeper can the game go into? So it definitely does feel like that.
Yeah, 100%. So it's Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be very interesting. I think this game was a good fill-in. The good thing about this one is like we didn't have to wait very long after the 3-day to get this.
Right.
So it was nice.
The gap between was like 2 and 3, pretty much. That was like the big.
Yeah. So this one was quick. It was like quick and easy. Like, okay, Kairi's going to keep training, even though when Kairi's like, oh yeah, I know, I have to go keep training. For one, I like that because she wasn't like fighting Riku about going with him. Right. But two, I was kind of like, man, Kairi. Like, did they not forget how crazy she was in the DLC?
I know.
Like, she was disgusting.
Listen, I'm one of those people, man. I really just want to see Kairi get some action. I want to see her go out there and do her thing. And I love that we got a piece of that in Remind, right? We got a piece of that.
Yeah. Dude, she was crazy.
Right. And I'm even more happy that we got a little like cinematic little cutscene with her going in against Master Xehanort. So it was kind of cool to see that. So I'm just glad that it's like going on that train, right? Like we're getting this cool, like, we want this other Aqua, basically. Even though it's cool to say that we can finally say now that she's going to go ahead and train with Master Aqua, I think is
with Aqua.
Awesome.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah, so that's why I really like that they're really pushing her character, like where it's like she's going to train. Like I feel like she's going to stun all of us in like Kingdom Hearts 4. She's going to turn out to be like, top dog. Like we really underestimate her. So I am like, like you said, she's going to go and do her training. So I'm all for it. And I'm glad she's going to be doing Master Aqua now. So I just want to see her come out and just start saving everybody. Come in as like the last person you last expect to hop out. She's just going to come over.
Dude, that would be crazy.
Do some crazy
stuff. That would
be
crazy. Yeah. And you did mention something earlier that actually did intrigue me, because you were right about the secret ending. Riku woke up in that other world, so they must have had a plan already. Right. With the Melody game where Riku's going there now. So that cutscene is probably going to be fact. Like Riku is going to wake up in that world in Kingdom Hearts 4, and that's probably where it's going to start off with. So I'm going to imagine that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be a lot like Dream Drop Distance in the beginning.
Right.
I'm sure they're going to jump back and forth with Sora and Riku. The only other question that I could think of is, what are they going to be fighting now in this new world? Because I can't imagine it's just going to be the same old Heartless or Nobodies.
Right.
Especially not the Nobodies, because the Nobodies are done at this point. Everybody kind of went back to their bodies now. So is it just going to be Heartless again? Are they going to introduce something new? I think
No, I would like to think if they want to kind of go with this whole theme of like it being something like a brand new world, a brand new thing, like I would think it's something new, something from that world, maybe like the evil in that world. I have no idea. But I guess for me personally, I would like for it to be something new, but I don't know what we'll see. What if Maleficent somehow gets there? I mean, she turns up everywhere. So what if she's over there and she just brings in the Heartless? You know what I mean? Like that could be something we see
I
too.
see her coming.
Right. Like she just does it. She's all over the place,
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, no, that's sick, dude. I think there's a lot of excitement coming for Kingdom Hearts 4 next year, and I could imagine 5-9. Me, Lethal, Kubba loves it. Toonrami, we could definitely see these guys jumping back on. Well, and that was pretty much everything I wanted to cover with the game. We talked about the future for Kingdom Hearts 4. Fortunately, there's not really a whole lot in the game that we could really cover, but there's a lot to discuss in terms of what's coming in the future.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, now that it's so like open-ended to see like where everybody's kind of splitting off at. I mean, it's not even just like it's not even just Kairi and Riku. You have Mickey getting tasked to go back to Scala at Kylam. So like, there's again like they're all split off, and that's to think that it might go to Kingdom Hearts 4. I wouldn't be surprised if they do another game, like another separate game before that. I just wouldn't be surprised because there's so much to tie in, unless they just want to tie everything into 4. But Nomura likes to toss in little surprises or little things like that. So who knows?
Yeah, no, it's true. They could definitely make another game and kind of do a game like a Birth by Sleep 2 in a way, because which they kind of already did. But remember, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra went back into the Dark Realm, which I never really understood why they did that. Like, they could always make like a game based off that exploration that they did at the end of the DLC in 3, or more of where Riku went, right? We don't really get like the greatest idea where Riku's actually been this whole time. So they could do another tie-in game, but from the looks of it, how he explained it in his interview, he said that there's going to be one last game, and he did mention it was going to be Melody. So Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be coming next, but what can we expect is, I'm expecting basically almost the longest Kingdom Hearts game coming out. I'm expecting 4 to be insane deep.
Yeah,
insanely deep, insanely huge. Yeah, I think there's a lot of hope with this one. I think 3 was a good way of ending the first series. Like, I'm sure he's been tapped out with that series already, with that Xehanort saga, and now he's probably excited. So now it's going to be like how it was when Kingdom Hearts originally came out, where, it was like Kingdom Hearts 1 back to back. It was Kingdom Hearts 1, then 2 the year later. I don't think 4 is going to come out next year, but I'm going to say 4 could come out 2022.
I'm hoping that's
the
how
way
I feel.
The way he's talking right now, it sounds like they're working on it, that they're doing really well on it too. And remember, they do have the engine already for Kingdom Hearts 4 with the 3 engine, because that's what took so long, was the new Kingdom Hearts engine, which they have it ready. So I'm expecting an announcement next year, and probably maybe holiday 2022.
Ooh, bold.
That
sounds. I mean,
bold.
It's definitely reasonable. I wouldn't be surprised if honestly we just don't get it until like 2023. I don't know why. I mean, we waited.
Push it back.
We waited. I think they know that like players will wait too, and I'm one of those people who are like, I'll wait. Don't rush it. Make it a really good game. But I guess 2022 is reasonable. I wouldn't be surprised if like 2023.
If they push it back,
if they push it back or something like that, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we just have to figure out when they actually started developing it, right? That's kind of like the always
that's true.
The thing you have to look at.
That's true.
It's when they started, which I don't know when they did.
I was gonna say, and we got like Remind and Melody Memory really close back to back too, so that's totally true too.
Yeah. And the fact that he doesn't have to worry about Final Fantasy anymore, like basically he's just Kingdom Hearts now. I think now it's gonna be pretty quick, and even if it's a 2023 release, that's still quicker than Kingdom Hearts 3
that's what
release.
I would like. Yeah, just nothing like nothing that we had before, please.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was everything I wanted to cover with you, man. So again, thank you so much for coming on, and guys, let us know, in the comments below, what you think is going to be coming for Kingdom Hearts 4. What are you expecting? What do you want to see? How did you guys feel about Melody? And definitely let us know if you want us to do more videos like this for, other games that, we could just do quick discussion videos on. There's a bunch of games that come out. Lethal covers a crap ton of games over on his Twitch channel, so definitely check those out. And, whatever games you guys want to see Lethal coming on here and doing, put it in the comments, man. So again, Lethal, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you here, and thanks. We are good to sign off. All right, guys, so we'll see you in the next one. Take care, and peace out.